it. I had my reserves when they said it because I'm thinking to myself like, um, this is the opportunity to shine. But for what we saw, it was absolutely amazing. They didn't lie. They said it was going to feel like a comic book, and it did. And the
Yeah.
effects was amazing, and the progression of the trailer, which whenever it is released and finished, um, it felt more and more of an animated movie that I would have never thought we would have seen on a superhero movie.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the very first teaser, whatever that was, I kind of had like a lukewarm feeling to it, but I had posted on my Twitter like a piece of concept art from this film, and it was like him fighting like this huge, giant Godzilla-sized
Goblin.
Green Goblin. You know,
Hmm.
and I was like, wow, I really love the style. And the more research I did after that, I was like, yo, I'm loving the style of the animation. It's really different, very distinctive. And yeah, like a living graphic novel in a way. It's super
Yeah.
weird. I
Yeah.
really like it. And even though the footage that they showed, um, even though some of it was unfinished, I was just blown by
Yeah.
it. To be honest with you, I was like, wow. I didn't, when's it come out again?
Is it September? Does anybody know?
I
I don't
actually
know.
don't know.
Go
Actually,
back. When's this movie come out? I didn't see
um,
this movie.
It comes out in December. December the 14th is when it actually
Damn it!
officially
I gotta wait till
releases.
December to see this damn movie.
Yeah,
no,
but
this
Fuck.
December Star Wars. Am I not oh, this year I'm tripping.
it's this year.
Yeah, that and Bumblebee is gonna be some wrecking going
Matter
on.
of fact, Aquaman is in December as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But the reality is, this is also coming from the comic book, Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Verse, and with that, it breaks this mold of all these different kind of Spider men and women. You got Gwen Stacy, who is Spider Gwen, which is actually played by Haley Steinfeld. If you ever seen True Grit, she also is in the Bumblebee movie. She plays. See, there's an interesting scene with her because we didn't know it was Gwen Stacy. Miles was really trying to kind of like understand his powers, and he got stuck to this girl's hair, and we're like, he gets decked, but then her hair gets pulled out,
Yeah.
and then he's just
Yeah,
like,
that scene where Miles got his hand stuck to her hair was kind of just crazy.
I thought it was really well choreographed, and I just love the animation style. Like it's very immersive. But then even the beginning, like it had like these little bubbles because he's like, "Am I talking to myself? Like
Mm.
what is this?" And so it's really meta in so many different standpoints. But a big part of, like I said, the Spider Verse is all these other Spider Man and women. Like I said, you got Gwen Stacy, but you also got Spider Man Noir. You got Spider Pig, which they introduced that. I was
Oh,
really
yeah.
taken back by that.
Yeah.
I don't know who the Japanese girl is. This got the Spider-Man mech. That was freaking dope. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Nicolas Cage is playing Spider-Man Noir, by the way, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah.
And his introduction was really cool.
Yeah. Everything they did with whatchamacallit, Peter Parker, I thought was surprisingly deep and really interesting. Like that's
Yeah.
what sort of got me engaged into the narrative
Yeah.
that they got going on.
Yeah, I
for
almost
sure.
forgot that we actually had to talk about the trailer. I was just thinking about how I felt about it, but the characters in all the Spider Mans is different, and I like it. I have to honestly say that the first thing about when I knew this movie was happening was what is this?
Yeah.
We know about Marvel having a properties to Spider Man, and then the first Spider Man Marvel movie was Spider Man Homecoming, synonymous with Where You Belong, Homecoming, coming back. You know.
Mhm.
So when this came about, Spider Man Into the Spider Verse, I was like, is this some type of like kicking the legs under the seat? Like, are they saying like, you know, they're creating their own version of Spider-Man over here as well?
Mhm.
So
Very much.
when I started noticing that this had to do with the different not realities, the different. What do you
just-
call it? Realities, not realities.
This is kind of like a multiverse kind of
The
situation.
different universes that people are coming from. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
That's actually what they're going after. So when you seen the collaboration of all the different Spider-Mans on there,
Yeah, I was like, what?
yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, the yeah. I don't think that they're gonna release this footage because it was how long do you think the footage was?
4 minutes.
4 minutes,
minutes,
and
probably.
it was
Okay.
like some distinctive scenes that they did because they showed like Wilson Fisk for a while.
Shit,
They
they
didn't show
did.
any new footage of like the Prowl or anything like that. It was just so.
Am I tripping, or did they show snippets of him actually fighting like a giant, exaggerated Green Goblin?
Yeah, I mean that's part of the comic.
Okay,
Like that's legit in the
because
comic.
I was like, yeah, I could have sworn I saw like some little snippets in there.
I think the thing about this is that if Sony plays their cards right, they could add any incarnation of Spider-Man into this movie they want to. Imagine if they brought like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man or like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
That would be completely insane.
Like, I would geek out, like legit.
Also, real quick, another thing that really got me really, I could feel myself eventually becoming invested in the whole narrative. One of the reasons why is that, I don't know, the Peter Parker stuff was the gravesite when Miles was he's at the cemetery to go to the gravesite of Peter Parker. That actually kind of sent chills. I was like, oh shit, like they know what they're doing. Whoever's in charge of the story, I think they know what they're doing, or it feels like it, anyways. I can't say that I know, but it feels like it.
So another thing they alluded to is Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
In recent comics, there was, I don't want to spoil it. There's something to do about their future that is very intertwined, as well as like an emotional relationship kind of connection. They kind of alluded to that with the banter between Hailey and the guy that plays Miles Morales from Dope. And I think that'll be interesting as they start going that route with it.
Yeah.
I'm really taken aback because now there's so many different ways that they can spin this into its own franchise.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to just make one film; they can make multiple.
Do you think that there's things in an animated film that cannot be done visually in a live action film?
I think it's the opposite. I think the animation has more realms of doing whatever they want versus the live action that you got pitches, you got copyright stuff, and then you got like this huge budget you got to worry about the VFX. Whereas something like this, like if you have a good enough animation team and you have time, there's anything you can do. That's one of the reasons why, like looking at the Death of Superman, like I mean, if that's to me not like a great example of it, like they had the 1993 version to a T, but yet they added so much impact on an emotional and action level that I don't think they could have gotten away with that in the film. I think that something would have kind of limited them, whether it be studios, whether it be something else. Like I feel like they can really go there.
Yeah, that one I'm still. It's tricky. It's tricky for me to answer because like one example like Infinity War. There were so many aspects to Avengers Infinity War visually that like I was just like, Jesus Christ, I didn't even know we were there yet with technology, you know? It's like, wow, they're really pushing hard, you know? This is I don't know if I've said this like in a video, but Infinity War, at least for me personally, my opinion anyway, it's the first film where I was like, geez, like man, it's almost like live action could get to a point where it gets to the same level of complexity as the most complex animated film visually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about that?
I think that Sony. I think what I got from Sony today is that Sony is willing to gamble on themselves in strategy to still be successful, and they're trying to be They're trying to be players in the game,
Yeah.
They spoke a lot about wanting to do their own thing and expanding their universe, but they also set back to say that, but we are also open for the deal that's on the table, for them to be able to capture stuff with that. What's interesting here with Spider Into the Spider Verse is that, like Sam said, with it being animation, the sky is the limit. Casting
For sure.
won't be as difficult as live action.
Definitely not.
But a quick question I wanted to throw out at you with that comment was, would you have preferred this movie knowing what you know now, but having seen live adaptations of Spider-Man numerous times now?
Sure.
Would you have liked to have seen this been live action over animation?
So initially, for me,
So you're saying like
The same concept, just live action.
okay, so the exact same like visual.
You can't duplicate that, but
well-
I mean, with the same premise.
Well,
of
I
what
mean
we
that was
got-
kind of like my question though, you
Well-
know, because
what we got here is obviously we have Miles Morales,
Mhm.
and that's that. But the fact that we're talking about different Spider-Mans collaborating, coming together from different universes as one team, so to say, to take on whatever it may be.
Mhm.
Um, and considering that each Spider-Man has their very own distinct characteristics to them, from cloaking to
Sure.
mech tech.
yeah, it was nuts.
Yep, a pig, so you're gonna have height differences. Would
Yeah.
you have wanted this to have still been animated over live action?
so
I don't know. I would have to sit on that one potentially because I mean, in animated form, it's almost like unusual how expressive the film is, narratively and visually. You know, it's just like holy shit, they're achieving things that we still haven't achieved cinematically, in my opinion. You know, in certain shots. But I don't know.
I,
Maybe animated. I don't know.
I mean, I think that for me, when I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, one of the things that I didn't like about Homecoming was the fact of them pulling characters that were taken from Miles Morales' Ultimate Universe. Like, I guess Ned and Genki, they fuse the same exact characters together. The way that they kind of just don't use like some of the pivotal characters from Peter Parker's world. I was kind of like taken aback, but then they did do like the Childish Gambino's Aaron Davis that alludes that he's supposed to be a prowler, but even though that nothing about that scene with him made me believe that he had that expertise or that ability. But it did lead the foundation that there is a Miles Morales in existence within the universe. But looking at this specific trailer that really solidified this is a multiverse. If they create a Spider-Verse within the confines of the Marvel / Sony universe, then this could still happen. It's not even like a possibility. It could easily happen. I think that what they're doing is Marvel is letting Sony do this, and they're gonna be like, all right, let's see how this really works. Let's see how this is either it succeeds or not. And if it succeeds, I can tell you that by the third Spider-Man movie that's a collaboration between Sony and Marvel, they're gonna go into like a Spider-Verse. They're gonna go into seeing how we're gonna pull these different niches like this, and maybe adding a Miles Morales. So that because I don't see them aging Tom Holland all the way out and then giving us a Miles Morales. I could see them having like a Spider-Verse live action, and then like, okay, on this universe, Spider-Man's dead. The only person that's there is this other Spider-Man in Miles Morales. And I think that that'd be a quick way of getting him in, and allowing his character to just kind of progress versus having to wait 10 years for Tom Holland to get older or them to go and do something totally different. So I think that this is going to be the precursor to that. I think that they did that with, what was that animated film? The Ultimate Avengers. The Ultimate Avengers cartoon. When that joint came out and we sat there and saw the Hulk literally almost chop like Thor's head off with his own hammer and like go ape nuts on the Avengers, that set to me this like perception in my head like, man, I love to see this live action. And then we got the Avengers, which came off of that same exact theme. So I think that this could easily be the same exact thing for whatever Marvel and Sony do with Spider-Man. Absolutely.
I think that I think to your point, I think that Marvel being the juggernaut again as they are,
Mhm.
that they sprinkled enough seeds all over the place with Sony and the deal, which they etched out a few years ago easily, and now with the Fox deal, that there's there's enough smart creative people around the table for them to always think about the next possibility.
Mhm.
And I think that them doing this as an animated field and talking about different universes is a safe story that works. It's comic book politically correct.
Mhm.
That the fact that they can do this and it doesn't jeopardize anything they do in the future.
Yeah.
So that Homecoming, which for whatever you want to mark as success, it happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sprinkled ideas about Miles Morales. The fact if we get it, because that's obviously not going to be in the next Homecoming movie.
Mhm.
But if they decided to do it 3 or 4 movies down the line, that there was a precedence in the first Homecoming, and then you're looking at Into the Spider Verse, which is telling you that this is going to be their own thing. The
Yeah.
idea of the collaborations of why different Spider-Mans come from different places and all that stuff. They building the idea there, and then that can go as far as it was what they want.
Yeah.
That it's just nothing they're doing is going to be conflict to each other. And
Yeah.
then I'm not sure what you're covering in Venom, but in the press panel for Venom, they say it too. They say, look, hey, we would love to do something with Marvel Spider Man. We
Yep.
want that. If you fans want that, then y'all let them know. Tom
Mhm.
Holland said he's for it.
He did.
Tom Hiddleston said he's for it.
For sure.
And he's a spoiling guy, so whenever that comes about, we're gonna know first from his Instagram account.
Probably.
But no one's sitting around the table with their arms crossed saying, I don't want to do business. Everyone is looking around saying the possibilities are there.
Yeah.
We're going to work on our many projects and whatever it may be, but down the line,
Mhm.
the bigger idea is always to get everything all together.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with Into the Spider Verse because
Sure.
it's a different approach. It's refreshing.
Mhm.
The effects, even though half of it wasn't completed, they were
Yeah.
very
Still
very
done.
easy on the eyes,
Yeah.
but very good. I mean, I almost wanted to say this, but I know this might have been a super reach. But you guys can tell what you think.
Sure.
I thought I was watching a Disney Pixar movie. That's how good the animation was.
It was very good.
It's this bridge between 3D at times. It feels like you're watching it, and I mean, I think even the first trailer kind of showed like certain symbols, like the action scenes look like it's coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Like
it
a
kind
blend
of
between,
like you're watching 2D, but it feels like you're watching 3D.
Yeah,
essentially.
this one was a lot more refined than the first trailer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like it seems seamless. It literally
Yeah.
looks like I'm have a comic that's coming
Yeah.
to life, and I think that this is one of the best representations I think I've ever seen. And I agree. I think it was on that kind of Pixar level, or it has the potential to be at least
It's
moving forward.
Yeah, just to answer the question, I think that I personally would want a live action version of the exact thing that we saw footage for, just because at least for me, ultimately, I like a more tactile feel to the filmmaking.
Yeah.
I like it to be, like how real can we get? That's why I loved Infinity War so much because there's so many goddamn shots of Thanos that are literally photorealistic.
Yeah.
Literally.
Absolutely.
And I'll challenge anybody with screenshots. But all day. Wait till that Blu-ray comes out. Boy, challenge anybody. But anyway, yeah, that's my take on that though. I think I would prefer a live action version. However, at the current time, we are still very limited with live action. So I mean, it's quickly changing, but yeah, it's definitely. I guess what I'm saying is it's definitely better that they're taking the animated route with these kinds of visual styles.
I want to say this, and you guys can correct me if you feel different, obviously, or you just think I'm just flat out wrong.
Sure.
But I think that Sony isn't aiming in a direction where they're going to be limited by I guess I'll say character accessibility or availability
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
because of property rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they're aiming in a in a safe manner again. That they're going to tackle whatever storylines, whatever comic book adaptation that deals with the Spider-Man property and Venom at that. That you're not going to notice this weird sense of like we're Spider-Man and Venom or Into the Spider-Verse. Like, well, can we use some of these characters? You know, some of that. I think that they're going after the idea of saying like we're we're putting all the cards on the table and we're just going to see which ones actually cashes in.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna agree with you to a fault. I think that the proof is gonna be in the pudding when it comes to Venom and of course Into the Spider Verse when they actually do come out and we get to see how they do level out because the reality is that Into the Spider Verse features Peter Parker. Like I was sitting there thinking, like Into the Spider Verse is gonna just be Miles' story, but no, Spider Man is in it. Even though technically he's with Marvel and. Yeah. It shows that relationship with Marvel and Sony is very much so constructed in a specific way.
Yeah.
And I think that with both of these films, if they end the way that I think they are, that moving forward, they're going to be able to explore a lot more with Spider-Man with this universe. I don't think they should label it a Venomverse, quote unquote. I think that it's still very much so going to be Spider-Man owned.
Sure.
I think
it might. I think it might be fair to say there could be like a Venom verse happening. I think that might be fair.
I don't think so because I think they directly hinted that not to be limited to. Like
that's what I'm saying.
They made it very clear. I mean, the questions was asked. I mean,
oh well, you're saying in terms of like they want to expand and like throw in Tom Holland and throw in
whatever it is,
just Spider-Man in general.
Yeah, no one's walking on eggshells about saying, "Hey, can Spider-Man be in this movie?" They're saying, and I think we're going to get to the point now, even, and I know we're talking about Spider-Man, but to jump over to Marvel Studios, we're going to get over to the point now where they have conferences and stuff. And people are going to say, well, what about mutants? And they're going to say, yeah, we'll have to work with mutants. But 5 years ago, that was the most forbidden word to ever say to Marvel.
Yeah, true.
But now it's just like, we people have this idea that because Spider-Man is with Marvel, now Spider-Man does not exist here.
Sure.
Well, they're saying, no, he does. And by the way, Peter Parker, if that's what you want to even decipher that they were two different characters or two different property rights. No, he's over there, and and I think it's genius for the Venom movie to not directly say Spider-Man may be in it.
Same,
but could be in it. And could you imagine the popping the conspiracy theorists of Twitter saying, "Oh my God, it was Spider-Man and Venom"?
Let me tell you something. If that's a great film, that's.
And see, I don't even think it's got to be a great film. I think that if it ends connected with Spider-Man in any capacity whatsoever, that
it cannot just be good like Justice League. It has to be great.
No, Justice is not good. I think it needs to come up to bat and get the first base. I think that's important. And
that's what I'm saying.
And I think too, the other thing we need to talk about, something we talked about a few years ago, is that Spider-Man, we brought the name up so many times, is because it's by no mistake. We're not Spider-Man fanboys. Spider-Man is such a big property that Marvel said, oh, by the way, we need to redo half of Civil War because we need to throw him in there for marketing because he's just that important to us right now. They could have left him out for his roles that he had, but nonetheless, he's such a pivotal and marketing character that why wouldn't Venom want to make sure that Spider-Man has a presence in it? And then why not again leave the cards on the table for the possibilities for intertwining whatever the grand scheme of things may be. So like no one's exiling Spider-Man or Peter Parker into the Spider-Verse or into Venom. I think we learned today that the sky's the limit right now for Sony. And
big time.
And no matter what they're able to accomplish, that there's no constraints on how far they will go.
Yeah, and I think I do want to say too, I feel like they do want to make at the very least a couple more like heavy Venom centric films. Not so much Venom and Friends, the movie type of thing. You know what I mean? Like how BVS uh, should have just been about
So
Batman versus
wait,
Superman, but it really was like
James,
Batman, Superman, and
James McAvoy,
sprinkles of.
McAvoy. You forgot about McAvoy.
Oh, in the
Sam's
tweet.
multitasking. Yeah, come on, man,
I
give
was like,
McAvoy.
what are you
Wait,
talking about?
wait. James McAvoy has Twitter. What? I'm about to follow this
I think
motherfucker.
he does.
Does he?
I mean, if
He doesn't seem like the type of person who
he
would have
definitely
a.
does seem like the type of person.
Does it?
Because I know Sam hate when we get off on tangents.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Into the
yeah.
Spider Verse.
Sure.
My last remarks on it is that we did get to see exclusive footage that wasn't done. And you bring up a good point earlier is that from the original uh, uh, teaser
Mm.
that we did see a progression in animation in the first half of what we saw today, where it did look and feel absolutely better. And then the rest of the road
Yeah.
that needed to be complete, it wasn't like it was a strict decline. It still felt really heartfelt in that um, it's good to see Sony bring that energy back up to the table because they let's be honest, they haven't been good in the last few years, and I
No.
think this gives a new tone, a new feel, a new vibe that I think fans are going to be intrigued with. Don't be reserved because this is animation and you've been so spoiled with live action this and
True.
big
Yeah.
name casting this. There are
True.
big names in this movie. A lot of people who want to see this succeed revolves around it, and I think that you're going to enjoy.
Another thing is that, yeah, I have a real massive respect for what they're doing visually because I think that is so unique that people are gonna. It's like they won't be able to help themselves but be curious and want to check
Hopefully.
it out and definitely like the deep fans, like when people are freaking out about the little pig in the spider suit, um, those fans are gonna got that nerd sweat going hard.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, and I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off,
No,
but
no,
but I think too, Sony's has been learning. Spider Pig is going to be Baby Groot
Yeah,
galore for merch.
yeah,
It's going to be everywhere.
yeah.
And that is going to bring in because people love toys. We know that a lot this week from
yeah,
Comic Con.
hundred
But
percent.
Spider Pig is going to be such a marketing tool. It's going to bring in the uncasual fans over because of that. Some people went to see Guardians just because of Groot, and I think that is something Sony has never done. They looked at a character and say, "Hey, we need one of those type of characters,"
Mm.
Yeah.
and there you go.
Yeah, and definitely because it's animated, there's so many ways that they can flex, perhaps more complexly, like visually, in animated form than versus like a live action form. At least currently, possibly. Yeah, there were so many shots in the footage that we saw where I was just literally was blown away, because it's so, I guess, represent the essence of the comic book so well, you know. I was like, damn, this is Spider Man for real. It just really feels like Miles.
Yeah, I think my closing thoughts are just that between Venom and Into the Spider Verse, what Sony was able to do was allow us to take a step back and be like, this might be worth watching. This actually might be something that I'm interested in. Whereas before, I'm kind of reserved, like, this is a great concept, but you failed me before.
Mm.
This was a great property that you let me down with, but now it looks like this is something that might interest me and might pique me. And I think that,
Can you go to my Twitter really quick and find that Spider Verse concept art of? Well, I suppose you could Google it as well, but it's concept art of from the movie we're talking about. It's super dope.
but, but just based on the fact of what they were wanting to do, which is try to get people established in that we have something, we want you to be interested, and you can go and watch this film, and this is going to be an interesting franchise moving forward. I think they succeeded in that.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't think when it came to Venom that they'd be able to. I think that they had way more ability when it came to Into Spider Verse, but if this weekend didn't tell me nothing, Sony is understanding they need to modify what they need to do to reach the demographic of people. Now they could end up failing, but
True.
if not anything, they've enticed people, and I think that's one of the most interesting things. But the weird thing is, we only saw the footage. You guys haven't seen anything. We're the ones letting you know what it made us feel. So
Yeah.
I can tell you, I am enticed. I think that it's something that you're gonna like and you're gonna potentially be excited about. So
Yeah, I
check it
don't
out.
understand. I would love to hear you guys give it like, on a 10 scale because flat out, I think I might have to legit just give it a 10 out of 10 for the footage, despite having unfinished whatever.
Yeah.
Because the intention, and still even the execution of what was happening in unfinished footage was incredible.
Yeah.
It totally blew me out. I was like, wait, what? Like, what Spider-Man fan is gonna watch this and be like, yeah, that was trash? So your thoughts on the scale of 1 to 10?
I'm not really a 1 through 10 guy.
No?
I think I'm more of a sense of comfort with this, and I think that again, we've been spoiled with live action stuff that I know that the people who are used to seeing the same thing over and always just find something to complain about. Regardless, is that from what I've seen today, there's a sense of confidence that the finishing product is going to be good, and I'm surprised none of us have even mentioned this yet. But I mean, the fact that this potentially may come out in 3D. Yeah, be ready for a ride because it feels like it in 2D.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, that's all I got, you guys. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed our dissection of Into the Spider-Verse. Talk to you guys a bit later on. We got a lot of interesting things tomorrow.
Oh god.
For me specifically, Steven Universe panel, Warner Brothers. Those are the two biggest. I know that the Deadpool uncut
The second one.
screening is gonna be tomorrow night, in addition to a Deadpool panel. But yeah, we're excited, and we got a lot more content coming you guys' way. Peace out.
Yeah, a lot more coming. Definitely make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely if you're on your mobile device, whatever, hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Done.